I'm going to address the crowd size first because I did watch the speech yesterday as well. We'll talk about that. But let's just get into the crowd size because you see a lot of the coverage. I looked on Twitter, I looked on mainstream media a little bit, and they are just laughing like hyenas about the fact that Trump did not have a full stadium after touting a full stadium. Now, there's multiple reasons that this could have been. At first, I was thinking, maybe people were afraid of the coronavirus. Maybe he just didn't have a good turnout, but it didn't make sense because Brad Parscale, his campaign manager, was saying he had over 1 million people register to reserve tickets. So then, meanwhile, I find out on Twitter, I see Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She's laughing hysterically about it because apparently on TikTok, which if you don't know TikTok, it's very popular among the kids. It's like a teenage, there's 50, 60-year-olds on it too, but it's more of like a young, app at this point. It's got probably a lower demographic age-wise than Facebook or Twitter or anything, and a lot of people are dancing. You got kids in college dancing and stuff, but TikTok is also owned by the Communist Chinese as well, fun fact. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said a bunch of K-pop fans, if you guys don't know what K-pop is, it's Korean pop. It's very famous, not just in Korea, but in America as well. A bunch of K-pop fans on TikTok apparently purposely sabotaged the president. They all went and registered for tickets so nobody would go to the rally. This is a strategy that's been used, I believe, when Drake and Pusha T, those are two rappers, if you don't know who Drake and Pusha T are, they were beefing. I think one thing that Pusha T did was he bought out the whole front 2 rows or whatever. It was vice versa. They buy out tickets at the concert, pay for the money, and then nobody shows up, and it's kind of embarrassing because you're missing a lot of people. So it looks like on the digital side, President Trump got sabotaged by a bunch of Trump haters. And I saw a little clip of Brian Stelter, that little guy, furry little guy. I'm just kidding, but, I don't know if that's hate speech or something. I was trying to make a joke about Brian Stelter. He's an interesting character. But jokes aside, I saw him have the ringleader of who did this little TikTok thing. It was like a 40, 50-year-old lady. She looked way older than a young kid. So it looked like a concerted effort to reserve Trump rally tickets so it looked like everybody else got them, and then half the people didn't show up. So part of the reason the stadium wasn't full, according to a lot of these people and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, was a bunch of Trump haters collaborated with K-pop fans who like, Korean pop music to sabotage the president so he didn't have people at the rally. So they're admitting to doing this, and then meanwhile they're laughing. He didn't have any people there. Well, it's like you just said you sabotaged him, and then you're acting like he doesn't have the support. The second thing that happened that they're not covering, which is factual, you can see multiple videos and testimonies of it, is Black Lives Matter and other sort of activist groups went to the rally and were blocking the National Guard. They were blocking entries. They were blocking metal detectors. They were purposely trying to sabotage the event so people didn't get into the stadium. So a lot of people who went there were not only being threatened and they were being scared away by agitators and, beyond protesters, but they were actively blocking certain areas so people couldn't come in and come out. So that also deterred thousands. So the point I'm getting to is, regardless, before we even get to the content of Trump's speech, these people are wicked. And you can't be surprised, you can't be too upset, because these people are not going to stop. Eventually they're going to stop, they're going to have to stop, but these wicked people, there's no load that they won't go. They're like, oh, look, nobody went to a Trump rally. It's like, you guys purposely sabotaged the ticket sales so he wouldn't have people there. Then the people who went, you purposely sent people to block them so they couldn't get in the stadium, and then you laughed that he didn't have a full stadium after you sabotaged the digital and the physical entry of Trump supporters to the Trump rally. And then they have the nerve to laugh about it because regardless of what you think of Trump's size, he had thousands, if not tens of thousands of people there. Biden rallies don't even exist. When's the last Biden rally you've seen? Nobody's going to see Joe Biden, just like nobody went to see Hillary Clinton. So the only time she could pull an audience is if she uses some sort of like musician like Jay-Z or Beyonce, or brings out all the big wigs in order to get a crowd there. So it's like no one likes you, even on Trump's worst day where you sabotage ticket sales and you sabotage the entry. Trump still has 10 to 20 times more people than you'll ever have in a stadium, unless you use the music industry. And they still have the nerve. Look how small his crowd sizes are. Biden can't even fill like a lunchroom cafeteria at a small school. I don't understand what they're going for here. But in order to really buy into that stuff, you have to just be so wicked or brainwashed that you're like, yeah, let's block their entry, block their tickets, and then laugh about them for having a crowd that's 15 times the size of the Democratic nominee. It's laughable at this point, but I guess if you follow AOC or CNN, you think this was somehow a win, that because you sabotaged it or other people did, that Trump didn't have the normal amount of viewers. On the digital side, Trump had more viewers than ever. I believe millions of people tuned in across all forums. So people were interested. They just physically and digitally blocked people from entering. Half of them admit that. Half of them say it's empty. It's like under one breath they say, there's MSNBC clips, guys. One person at MSNBC says, people are saying that they're blocking entrances to the Trump rally, and we can't confirm that. And then you watch the other anchor, they're literally showing, hey, look, there's protesters or Black Lives Matter protesters blocking the entry. So the one person says, we can't confirm that they're blocking. The other one says, we see that they're blocked. These people just can't stop lying. There's no low that they won't go. They will lie, they will cheat, they will block you physically, they will block you digitally, and then they'll act like it was just some spontaneous, natural thing. It's outlandish, it's goofy. But whatever. I mean, who are these people lying to anymore? I don't understand the audience of people who buy this stuff. But to each their own. On that note, the speech was pretty funny. Obviously, there's parts that oh no, I gotta check real quick. Hopefully that was a spam, but I just got a notification from Facebook that I've been restricted on my page. I don't know if that's this page or another page. I got to go find out after this stream, but it looks like they're already censoring me. And I'm not just saying that. I have more live viewers than I've ever had, and Facebook's telling me that I'm restricted now. This is ruining the stream. I want to go figure out what they've done to me. But anyway, that's the story of what's going on there. As far as the content of their speech, I'll probably stay for 30, 40 minutes, and then I'll take off and see what that notification was. I guess I could check online real quick. I have my other computer here. Guys, if you don't mind, I apologize, but I just got a message that Facebook is restricting my page, so I have to figure out what it is. This is not good. These people just don't stop. Hold on one second. All right. I mean, I guess I could wait till we're done. I just kind of don't want to, because I'm like, what are they doing to me right now? As soon as I'm getting hot on the Facebook, they're like, sorry, we're restricting. Hopefully it was a spam. Let me check real quick, guys. Hold on a second. So ridiculous. Give me like 5 seconds. Let's see. Please be a spam page, just lying. Because there's a bunch of fake accounts too that like, let me see. Are you serious? Your anomaly page has been restricted from using certain features. Is this real? Let me see. Page help. View profile. Let me see. Hold on one second, guys. Okay, no, it's a fake page. Thank goodness. They're trying to scam me. Hold on one second. All right, I'm turning this off. I apologize for the delay. They scam. This is one thing I'll say too, and then I'll leave it alone. Watch out, because we're getting popping on here right now. There's a bunch of fake pages that pretend to be me and message people from like personal accounts. They say, oh, I'm Anomaly, I have free giveaways and stuff. I promise you it's not me. I love you guys. I wish I could hit you up and give you stuff, but it's not me. Watch out for that. There's scammers. I'm getting scammers in my email every day. So it was a fake page pretending to be Facebook. I was like, great, we're crushing it. And they're trying to like take me off Facebook. But all right, we're good. I was like, they're going to shut me down when we're in the zone. On the next note, all good. It's all love. It was a trick. It was a trap. But we just talked about why the stadium wasn't completely full. Obviously, just to be fair, COVID-19, people could have been scared. Some people could have reserved it. But with all the evidence I just told you, I mean, it's very suspicious, whatever. Then you get to the content of the speech. I thought Trump was pretty funny. It was nice to see him talk again. He's the type of person that you have to listen to. Even if you hate everything he stands for, listen to him and then make decisions for yourself. Don't listen to what other people say about him. This is the big media trap in general. If the media likes you, if you're like George W. Bush, if you're like Hillary Clinton, if you're like Mitt Romney half the time, if you're like Joe Biden. The media pretends to be a PR team for you. They just make excuses for you. If you're hanging out with Robert Byrd, you get USA Today, Reuters, they're all just bending over backwards to just make you look like a saint no matter what you do. And when it's Trump, it's the very opposite. So everything that he says, they try to say is horrible and terrible, and he's banning all these people. And it's like they never get to the truth. So if you want to understand Joe Biden, listen to Joe Biden. But the problem is you can't really hear Joe Biden because he's hiding from the press. Him and Hillary Clinton don't want to face reality, so they just have the media and celebrities carry the water for them because they're not good speakers. Vice versa, Trump is actually a great speaker, super funny, super honest. I'll give you a personal story. Someone hit me up on Instagram today and said, Anomaly, I like your page. How do you feel about Trump? Did you vote for him last time? Are you voting for him this time? And I said, I didn't vote for him last time, to be honest. I voted for third party. But I was trying to explain to him because he was like, what about the Muslim ban? What about the Hispanic thing? I was like, bro, I'm part Hispanic. I went to the White House for Hispanic Heritage Month. You have all Hispanics in the White House, Latinos, Latinas, and Trump is hilarious. He's making all these jokes. Someone yells out, bad hombre. And then he says, oh, no, I'm not going to say bad hombre. You say it, not me, because when I say it, they freak out. He was so funny, so accurate, like you just felt like you were with a friend. He's that type of speaker. He's a great speaker. He's off the cuff, so they don't want you to listen to him. They want you to hear what they say about him. As for some of the stuff he says, I get it's going to trigger people. I mean, he said something about flag burning, this and that. To me, I feel like I'm watching a comedy special mixed with like the realest president ever, where I'm like laughing. He's throwing the water. It's a great scene. I don't know. I mean, that's what I thought about it. Overall, it's good to see him back in action, but I really wanted to talk about, and then I'm going to take some questions. The real thing I wanted to talk about was, one, how they're celebrating the fact that his stadium was not filled when they digitally bragged about blocking people from getting reservations by doing fake reservations, taking the tickets and not showing up, and then by physically blocking them at the event. And then they act like it was just a random, spontaneous, organic thing. It's the same thing with when an arson lights a plastic recycling yard on fire, or they light a forest on fire. They say, oh my God, it was climate change. Like, yeah, the climate's changing, the heat can affect things, but if you light a forest on fire, that doesn't mean it happened organically. It means you lit it. And you could find one of the last fires the other week was an arson. The plastic, thing on fire in Atwater Village was an arson. So it's like they don't tell the truth about a lot. And for the COVID thing, we already knew 4 weeks ago when they had tens of thousands of people in the street without masks. They didn't care. They were promoting it. Of course, Trump does a rally. They're going to blame COVID spikes on it. This is a time and time again, narrative that you're just going to have to get used to, unfortunately, until the culture shifts. Because if you look at, and I just want to go through, you look at the George Floyd situation, rest his soul, Minneapolis, Democrat mayor, Democrat prosecutor, Democrat attorney general, Democrat area. You look at New York and New Jersey, where most people from COVID died. Democrat mayor, Democrat governor, all Democrats. The whole city and the whole state is run by Democrats, and then they have the nerve to blame Republicans. It's like nothing that's happened in the past couple months, and Republicans are not off the hook. Listen, Mitch McConnell, the whole party is kind of corrupt to the core. I'm fed up with them. What are they doing? They're just sitting there watching these people throw fits, but whatever. Point I'm getting to is, what in the last 4 months even has anything to do with the Republican area? Democrat cities burning each other down, Seattle, Los Angeles, it's like they're doing it to themselves. They're punching themselves in the face and they're blaming Trump. They're like, Trump did this, Trump did this. Where are all the COVID-19 deaths? Are they in Florida? Florida's doing astronomically better than New York and New Jersey, and they still blame, well, they've got more cases. Well, how many deaths do they have? Because if somebody catches the flu, it's okay. If someone dies, it's not great. How old are they? What's the average age? What else was going on? They just want to sabotage Trump, guys. They want to sabotage his rallies. They want to sabotage this economy. They want to sabotage the country. They'll do anything under the sun to try to end it. It's so obvious. And I do want to say, too, before we move on, last year, Project Veritas, regardless, you can debunk it or say you think it's fake or whatever. You could look at the mainstream media, whatever you want to do. But they had on tape, they showed Democratic operatives that were linked to, third parties, this and that were paying people to start confrontations in Trump rallies to then frame it on the media. They got caught, they fired somebody, and the media covered it up like they always do. So you got to understand with this type of stuff, it's not all random. It's not like they know exactly what they're doing at the high levels, and on the lower levels, people just think they're doing the right thing. And I understand that. But I'm going to take some questions now. That's enough on the rally. We could talk about other levels, but I just wanted to get core into why the crowd wasn't as big when they sabotaged it on multiple levels. I mean, it's like very strange. But it's the same thing with Black Lives Matter. I talked about it in my last, God bless everybody. But check out my last video, which is how they manipulate us with labels and without substance. I really explain it to the fullest, even better than I could do here, and show you who they are, what they're really doing, and how they use labels to suck people in and then funnel them right back to the party that, if you're concerned with racist history, they're funneling you right back to the party of the KKK, right back to the party of the slavery, right back to the party of Jim Crow laws, right back to the party of wickedness that controlled the area that George Floyd died in. The same party that's wicked that controlled where most people died from COVID-19. I mean, it's all Democrats, but you don't know about it because they control the media. Most social media is playing along with them, and it's very hard to crack through that core because they have little roadblocks for you every which way you want to do it. This is that, this is this, you can't say this, you can't say that. But we do it out of here out of love because that's what it's going to take. God bless you guys. Let's get to some questions. I hope that kind of summed it up. Let me know what you thought of the speech. A lot to cover, but watching it live and then listening to them talk about it is like literally night and day. These people are just always subverting, always skewing. It's just bizarre. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate it. Let's see. I'm gonna read this little superstar chat. Laura said, "Do you think there will be any consequences for those who use foreign government technology to interfere?" That's a good question because they're always talking about foreign interference. TikTok is a communist Chinese-owned app, and they're bragging about using a communist Chinese-owned app to interfere with the Trump rally. AOC's bragging about it. And these people, I hate to use the word lightly because I don't like when they say far right, these people are fascists. It's ridiculous. I don't like false labels. But if you talk to AOC, you know, she probably will admit she likes communism. They're all Marxists. Black Lives Matter is a Marxist organization, admittingly. So they're using communist-style tactics, collaborating with foreign communist-style apps to sabotage their political opponents. I mean, they're just mask off, you know? Mask on, mask off. They're just showing who they are. Will there be consequences? Probably not, as far as like legal consequences, but in general, people just have to know this. The real awakening is going to become when enough people stop buying it. Why do they sell you crappy products on the television? Because people buy it. If people didn't buy it, it wouldn't be profitable and they couldn't sell it. If you keep buying it, they keep selling it. So the awakening is going to have to come from the ground up. It's not going to come from the Supreme Court. It's not going to come from the Republicans. It's certainly not going to come from the Democrats. It's got to come from us. So let's see. Do you think the federal government should get involved with Chaz? I don't know. It's a lose-lose. But to me, if he gets involved, they're going to blame him. If he doesn't get involved, they're going to blame him. So at a certain point, I want to help the people of Seattle, but I kind of agree with him, to be quite honest. I think he should let them be. They don't want him there. They want to run their own city and graffiti it and take over the police station. I don't agree with it, but I don't live there. So if they want to have a little experiment, just leave me alone. That's how I feel now. I hate to throw Seattle under the bus, but it's like, you have your territory, do what you want, just don't come near me, you know? That's how I feel. So I kind of agree with the president there, but I know a lot of conservatives want him to send in the military, the National Guard. I don't know. I kind of just think let them deal with themselves. I hate to say it, but that's how I feel. If you don't, that's cool though. To each their own. Let me see. Do you think the silent majority is stronger than ever? It's a good question. I do think the silent majority is very strong, and it's tough because most of the media is controlled by those establishment people. They don't allow so many voices. Like, you have to understand, I do social media, you know, I do Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. I get messages from all over the place, from Africa, from South America, from Germany, from France, from, you know, everywhere in the world, talking to people who are, you know, white as albino and darker than dark, all shades of skin, all religions. I got Muslim supporters, Christian supporters, Jewish supporters. Like, the silent majority is real. Good people who have, you know, not been hijacked and have figured out, you know, what the media is doing. It's rapidly spread, but there's also, you know, a counterbalance of people who are still confused or lost, or they just feel that way and that's how they feel. So I think the silent majority is stronger than ever, but that doesn't mean the election's a guarantee. This is still not looking great, but, you know, it's a long time till the election. Someone said, why waste funds sending the military? Yeah, I don't think you should send in the military, but It is what it is. I don't know. Someone said they voted for it. It's what they get for it. Exactly. Do you think the Girma investigation will lead to convictions? How high does it go up? It's a good question. I don't have expectations. I try to live my life not expecting things. You know, the Taoists and the Buddhists have always said expectations lead to disappointment, and I believe that. I mean, I'm human. I have emotions and stuff, but when it comes to politics, I can't say I have big expectations. And that's why I think that's why I appreciate Trump more than a lot of people. I didn't go into this thinking Trump was going to save the world. I didn't like him enough to not even vote for him. So my expectations for the president are non-existent. I thought he was just a total phony. So, you know, I had no expectations, and he raised the bar beyond what I thought he was going to do. With the Durham report, I have zero expectations. If I had any, I would expect them not to do anything. But if they do stuff, I'll be happily surprised. If they don't, it is what it is. But I wouldn't put the whole bank into the Durham report. I would more focus on how to wake people up. And I'm not even talking about wake people up politically, because a lot of it's a trap. Wake people up mentally and spiritually. I'm going to get into something, then I'll read more comments. What they love is destabilization. You see how they destabilize the city. You see how they're trying to destabilize the country. You could find, I think it's R. Edward Griffin, or however you say his name. He predicted this 40, 50, 60 years ago, because this has always been a communist tactic of divide and conquer. You have to divide, and the easiest way to divide America is our racial melting pot. So they use that purposely as a tool to divide. They also like to destabilize the family. They also like to destabilize the man from the woman. They also like to keep people alone, because when you're alone, you're easily manipulated. So when they destroy religion, it's not out of righteousness. I want to be one. I want to all get together. Religion can divide that. You got Christians, Muslims, Jews, Sikhs. It's hard to get along when we all think so differently, but they strip you of your religion. They strip you of your family. They strip you of your ideologues. And then you're an empty vessel. And then they don't send you off to some Tibetan Buddhist reservation where you could just be spiritual. They fill your mind with degeneracy. They fill your mind with lies and communism. So, at a certain point, the awakening is not even political. The awakening is spiritual. It's making people strong, making people secure, keeping the wickedness out of people. And then the politics and the culture will shift from that. But if we're just focused on Democrat or Republican, that's not even the real awakening. That's how I feel. Thank you, Coco. God bless you. Someone said polls are being targeted possibly. Well, here's the thing. Trump was leading the polls 2 months ago, and now he's not. The polls are going to shift. We got 4 months, multiple debates if they don't cheat. The polls are going to shift. But right now, it's not looking good. But what's a poll? How many people do they poll? It's not accurate. But at the same time, don't get comfortable. You got to understand that nothing is certain, nothing is guaranteed. So, you don't want to get too comfortable. That's what Hillary did in 2016. That's why she lost. She thought she had it in the bag. So, Trump does not have the leisure of having the media, having celebrities. Trump has ground roots. He doesn't have much support. So it's going to have to be people who like him, who wake people up to say he's not that bad, or, show people. Let me see. Fred said, what a ripoff. You buy stars to send to your favorite creators and Facebook gets half right up the top. What BS? Well, thank you for doing it anyway. But I hear you. It's nonsense, but I can't complain because, I still get it. So I'm glad. I thought Facebook was censoring me. Someone sent me a fake message, but I was like, oh, great. It literally looked like in a notification where it was like, that's how they trick you. With the fake anomaly accounts, they're like, they pretend like they're me and they're like, you win a free extravaganza. It's not me. They try to trick me too and be like, we're shutting your page down. So I never clicked the link, but I saw it was I thought, I was like, great, I have 13,000 people and they're trying to shut it down. It's okay though. Someone said the polls said Hillary. Yeah, the polls don't matter, but also don't get too comfortable. That's all I'm saying. Let's see what we got. Are they going to let Biden debate? There's nothing they won't do. I mean, look at this year. COVID-19, protests, riots, justifying tearing down statues. There's a clip of John Oliver making fun of Trump. He said, because they were tearing down Confederate statues years ago. And Trump said, what, are you going to tear down the George Washington statue? And John Oliver, he's very pompous. He's like, Trump thinks they're going to tear down this George Washington statue. That's not true. It's like they all make fun of everything he says. And then everything he says comes true in 3 years. We see the direction that they're going. Now Aunt Jemima's grandson doesn't want her to come off the label. He's probably going to lose money. And now his grandma's off the label. My whole life, I've never once heard, I understand the history of it, but I've never once heard anything but Aunt Jemima's, a lovely older black lady who's got the syrup. That's all I've ever known. His grandfather doesn't even like it. Muhammad Ali's son or grandson thinks that these protesters are wicked. He called them devils. So it's like, these people want to be offended for you. If the family of Aunt Jemima's not offended, how are you going to get offended for Aunt Jemima's family and then take away their symbol and then take their money probably and then act like you helped them? This is why Malcolm X said the white liberal is the most deceitful person in the Western Hemisphere. That's why he said that. They're offended for you. They do wicked things on your behalf. Take your money, take your grandma, and then be like, oh, we helped you. Aren't you happy? You're like, no, leave us alone. That's why I lean right wing. People are always like, anomaly, I would think you're a liberal. The right wing, in theory, not the Republican Party, they're at this point just complicit, but they're supposed to leave you alone. Get off my back. Stop stealing my taxes. Stop with all these massive regulations. Just the government always comes in. We're going to help you. We're going to take your taxes. We're going to take this. We're going to take that. We're going to take your community. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And then the next thing you know, they just won't leave you alone. That's why I lean right. It's like these people are wicked. They just destroy, and say, you're welcome. Now racism's defeated. No, you've multiplied racism. You guys are not only the party of racism back in the 1900s. Do your history. They're the party of racism. They said the parties flipped. Look at now. Republicans now, back then, they freed the slaves, according to reports. Back then, they were working with black Americans. Now, all the Republicans ask for, you look at a Trump rally, you know how many Hispanics like Trump? Tens of millions of Hispanics like Trump, not just here, all over the world. Party now of just be American. Just love this country. Don't be a degenerate. Don't be one of those people who does stuff and just work and have a good time and be someone in the community that everyone likes. No one cares about your skin color. You go to the left wing, it's all about skin color. You disagree with them, it's because you're white. We're only hiring Latinos. We're only hiring lesbians. They're the same way they were back in the 1900s. They just flipped. They don't see you as an equal. They don't ever want to see you. They say, I'm here, you're here, I'll help you, and then they mess your stuff up. This is why Malcolm X said, leave my neighborhood alone. They're like, oh, Malcolm X is racist because he doesn't want the white people there. No, he said, I'll handle my own neighborhood. I don't want you to come and mess it all up and say you helped me. Leave me alone. I respect it. He was like, get away. And they're like, oh, you don't want this to happen? He's like, no, I don't. Like, just leave me alone and I'll figure it out myself. I respect him for that. Someone said, on behalf of generational guilt. Well, yeah, your generation should feel guilt. No, I'm just kidding. It's all the boomers' fault. It's all the millennials. No. It's a combination, guys. We got to lift ourselves up. Someone said, let's see, freedom is colorblind, liberty over security. Exactly. We got this. I'm not worried about it. Someone said, just like Tom's shoes. I don't know what that means, but someone said Biden was endorsed by Wall Street. Biden's got a lot of the corporations and a lot of people behind him, but I'm sure certain people win no matter who's president. I'm sure Wall Street's going to win either way, and they don't care if the economy tanks. These people have so much money. If the economy tanks, they'll just take their money out and then put it back in and double their money while everyone else loses. These corporations will even self-sabotage. They don't even care. But that's a whole different story. I can't get into that now. Someone said Dems create racism every 4 years. I mean, it is suspicious that every time this happens, it's always on an election season. Same with 2016. But thank you, Amanda. I appreciate it. Someone says, so tired of this idea that you need to apologize for past stuff. Well, here's the thing. It's a righteous thing to make the history right. It's a righteous thing, but the wicked media and these celebrities and politicians, they don't want to right the wrongs. They want to just add more fuel to the fire and make it even worse. Worse for everyone. Their ideology makes it worse for their own neighborhoods and then everybody else, because it doesn't come from righteousness. It doesn't come from God. It doesn't come from love. It doesn't come from truth. It comes from anger, emotion, deception, and these things will lead to wickedness. And that's where they're going. So, the real righteous route you could do something about systemic problems, but there's a way to do it and there's a way not to do it. And a lot of people are going off of emotion. Well, I feel upset over this. Well, you could feel your way right into communism, and then you could find out what happens when America's not as free as it was in the 1990s to now. So you can emotionally feel that way, but it doesn't mean you're right. I could get angry and smash these windows and say, well, you did something to me and I'm mad at it. You could do that, but if they're your windows, you just smashed your own windows. You get what? That's what people need to realize. Emotion is understandable. The past was wicked, but you got to watch yourself, because if you might get played. And if you look at history, they put it in this frame that they just say, this happened. They're lying about most stuff, guys. It didn't happen just like that. There were bad actors in every community. There were people tricking each other, deceiving. There were, wicked people of all ethnicities who were misleading their own people. They don't teach that aspect of history. They teach it in a way to mold people to think how they want them to think, so they vote how they want them to vote and act how they want them to act. And this has been a plan for generations now. I mean, people have predicted this in the 30s, 40s, 50s, because it was written how they're going to destroy America, how they're going to destabilize it. How do you make people think? So, we got it. Someone said, why is nothing said about the trials of Hillary and Obama? Because most of the media is on Obama's and Hillary's side, so they're not going to talk about it. It's all... And this is why I respect this aspect of Trump more than maybe anything. He calls out the media. And what people don't understand, whether it's George Floyd, whether it's Hillary Clinton, Obama, Trayvon Martin, whether it's, the wall, whether it's Libya, Syria, anything that's going on, the media has unlimited stories to tell. They have so much systemic and corporate power. They don't have to report reality fairly. They don't. They never will. They can cherry pick a story at any time to use it for their agenda, and they're never going to stop doing it. So people, why don't they cover, I should close the window, but it's like, why don't they cover Obama and Hillary's trial? Why? They will never do that until enough people realize what they're doing and tune out to what they're doing and tune into somebody who's more honest or accurate. That's the only way to stop these people, because they have unlimited, it's like magic, it's wizardry. Like I could stage, you've seen the meme of the guy is running from a guy with a knife, but if you frame it the right way, it looks like the guy who's the innocent victim is stabbing him. It's like that's how they could frame anything. They could make it up. They could ignore it. They can tell this story. So enough people have to tune out of this, because they're going to constantly fearmonger, sell you pills and sell you crappy foods. And then those same people, I mentioned this in my other video, the people who say we are saving the world from COVID-19, Trump's a bad guy. What do they sell in their commercials? Alcohol, ice cream, unhealthy food products, pills, all this type of stuff that leads to you not being the healthiest person on the planet. And then if you're not the healthiest person on the planet, you're more susceptible to heart, diabetes, stroke, COVID-19 death. If you're not elderly and you're fit, you have a very low percentage. If you're not fit, if you have comorbidities or obesity and diabetes, preventable ones, then you're more likely to die from COVID. So they're literally killing you with their products and with their advertising and with their fear. Your fear weakens your immune system. Your fear destroys your body. This is proven science. They fill you up with fear. They fill you up with negativity. They fill you up with terrible food. They kill you in that sense, literally with the products that they're giving you. It leads to millions of deaths worldwide every year, whether it be alcohol or the food they sell. And then you look, it's New Jersey and New York where all the COVID-19 patients are dying. You had the Democratic leaders put people that were infected right back into nursing homes, and that's where most of the people died, elderly people with COVID people around them, and then they blame the Republican Party and keep selling you this stuff. It's a wicked, wicked cycle, and the best way is just, we have to detach. And the best way to convince somebody is not always partisan politics, because the Republicans what are they doing? They're just like communist light. They can't even stand up for themselves or do anything. They just pander, and think that they're going to get a cookie at the end. It's like no one's giving, no offense, no one's giving Mike Pence credit for being like Juneteenth is an important holiday. I'm glad you think so, Mike, but there's not a single person who looks at that like, oh, you know what? He's so not racist now. So there's got to be, persuasion, and it comes through truth and, not making everything political, getting to the core of stuff, calling out the Republican Party when they need to be called out. That's how you gain trust. You can't just, these talking heads that only say it one direction, it's not awakening enough. But everyone plays their part. It's all love, they play their part, we play ours. Someone says slavery is still going on in Africa and there's no outrage. There's a brilliant Thomas Sowell quote about this. I can't think of it exactly, but basically he says, Thomas Sowell is a conservative black pundit who's been writing books for decades, phenomenal, brilliant guy, always shares quotes. But he said, they always talk about slavery in the past and they never talk about slavery in the modern era because they can't capitalize off slavery in the modern era. Everything they talk about, when they talk about World War II and they talk about, slavery, they're doing it not from an angle of righteousness to free your mind. They're doing it from an angle of control. If they could frame World War II and not tell you that communism, why do they never teach about communism? Nazism's bad. Communism's bad. It's because the communists, we worked with the communists to defeat the Nazis. And then we took 1,600 Nazis with Operation Paperclip into the United States federal government. So why don't they teach that? It's because communists won the war. We worked with the communists to defeat the Nazis and then took some of the most prominent Nazi figures into America. So who really won the war? They don't teach this stuff. They only teach it from certain angles that certain people can profit off of and use as a shield to never get criticism. So everything is a trap in that sense. Of course, there's still slavery in the world. There's slavery in Africa directly resulting from Obama and Hillary Clinton's regime where they killed the leader of Libya. That's one of the main sources of it. And the refugee crisis that destabilized a lot of the Western world temporarily came from destabilizing Syria. They destabilized Syria, and then they sent a bunch of refugees, and a lot of them weren't even Syrian. A lot of them were from other areas where they snuck in just to, take advantage of a tough situation. It's a wicked game these people are playing, and the more you wake up, people will realize it, and it feels good to be on the right path. It feels good to not be a liar. It feels good to take back your soul and your mind from these people, because they'll just work you around. Watch this movie, listen to this rapper, listen to this musician. They just work you. And that's why at a spiritual core, they don't push LGBT and feminism and Black Lives Matter. I like what they pretend they're doing. They don't push these units to free people, to say, you're this. Look how they operate it, guys. It's all with communist tactics. They push Black Lives Matter, an openly Marxist organization, not as a way to lift up the black community, but to trick them into supporting communists. They use the LGBTQ not just to uplift gay and lesbian, to keep adding letters, to keep telling, now they're yelling at gay and bi people because they're not trans enough. Like, these people just keep going further and further, but they're also destabilizing. When you don't have a man and a woman, you don't make a baby. If you don't have a nuclear family, it's a lot easier to get led astray. They talk about, not only in the black community, but now in the white community, the family separation has a lot to do with, discipline problems in a lot of people, because if you're not raised by your parents, it becomes a problem. And it's the same with how they prey on, if you ever watch some of these sick, disgusting people who prey on young kids, a lot of times they do so at orphanages. Why do they do so at orphanages? Because they don't have any parents and they don't really have good guidance. So a lot of times that's how they do their sick, disgusting pedophilia stuff, is at those type of organizations, because there's no mother or father to protect the kid, and nobody has accountability for them. So they're not doing these organizations out of righteousness. The feminist movement, it's become a man-hating movement and a conservative woman-hating movement and a Trump-hating movement. You go to the Women's March, it's more about Democratic Party, it's more about hating Trump than it is about the feminine energy, or the divine feminine. It's all these psyop movements to destroy the woman, to destroy the man, to destroy the family, so you're an empty vessel so they could fill your mind with new things. So they're not filling you with the right stuff. And the more people that realize that, the more we can awaken. And that's what they hate. They hate strong people. And if you look at who they target racially and gender-wise, look at the number one race and the number one gender that they target. It's also just happens to be, if you divide people into demographics, it's the people who are voting conservative the most. So if they can destroy the group that votes conservative the most, they'll never lose an election again. They don't care about Hispanics or blacks or LGBT. They want to win at all costs. These are sick, wicked people. And they've really dumbed us down to thinking like the only action that happens in the world is like movies and rap music, and they have us living vicariously through their fake scripts and their planted programming that they it's a game. So you say this stuff and people are like, that's crazy. Like, Well, then why are you watching movies? Well, it's interesting. Well, what are they basing the movies off of? They're basing the movies off of real life. It's like these things happen. You know, Tom Cruise is not the only one selling drugs to the government. Like, that happens. You know, listen to the Ricky Ross story. Ricky Ross was a famous drug dealer in Los Angeles. I believe he sold like millions and millions of dollars worth of drugs, got caught, taught himself how to read in jail, found out who he was dealing with, taught himself how to read, found a loophole, got out of jail, and then told his story of who he was dealing drugs with. Phenomenal story. Very, very brilliant guy to teach himself how to read in jail. You know, just a few seeds to look into. Thank you, Virginia. God bless you. Thank you, Robin. God bless you. Thank you, Nan. Appreciate you. Rick said they're willing to destroy their own lives to accomplish an agenda, but it comes from what they operate off of. They want people to be weak. Weak physically, weak spiritually, weak mentally. They want weak people because weak people, whether it be physically, spiritually, or mentally, are easier to take advantage of. So if they can knock your self-esteem down, they can make you do certain things. So this self-destructive mentality that you see, it can go on both sides, but you really see it on the fringe left that are in the streets knocking stuff down. They create a coalition of degenerates. A lot of these people in Seattle, they're not stable. You know, they're not healthy people. They don't love themselves in a healthy way, not an egotistical way, but a healthy way. So they're just raging. They're raging on the city. It comes from emotion. It comes from trauma and pain. And it comes from just like a lack of self-awareness and self-accountability and self-esteem. So they purposely, there's a reason these people are self-sabotaging. They don't like themselves. If you don't like yourself, you don't value your life. If you don't value your life, you don't value anyone's life. It's a wicked mindset. It's a wicked spirituality. In order to value other people's lives, you have to value your life first. In order to love others, you have to love yourself. In order to accept others, you have to accept yourself. If you can't do that, you become an empty void, you know, and you just talk about space and, you know, go out and burn things. Like that's why these people are self-destructive. Those are the foot soldiers for the top of the pyramid. They love people like that because people who are empty and self-destructive will not only do things in the street that they would never do, but they also vote for the candidates they want to vote for. They see the world through a skewed lens. All right, we'll read a few more and then we're out. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you, Angela. Thank you. Someone said pretty. Let me see what this says. Bang. Marissa said, pretty stoked I found you. You are my people. God bless everyone. God bless you. Thank you, Julie. Appreciate you. So glad you're talking about this. No doubt. Let me see where you're speaking truth. I appreciate it. Yeah, I like the word wicked. Wicked is the word of the month. I'm going to say that. Thank you, Nancy. I appreciate you guys. God bless you. Thank you so much. That's why gyms and hair salons are non-essential. Guys, look what they close. Gyms, you can't work out. Churches, synagogues, you know, even, Muslim, I forget the name of the mosques. You know, they're closing all religious ceremonies, and now they're pushing a new religion. You can't worship Allah. You can't worship Jesus Christ. You can't worship whatever Jewish people are worshiping. I have no idea what they're doing. But in general, you know, you can't go do your religion or your lifestyle, and then they put you on the television and social media and tell everybody, now Black Lives Matter is your religion. Now you have a lot of people who are never politically motivated. They've been duped into thinking Black Lives Matter is a representation of black empowerment in America. No, it's black and white communism. It's the communists, guys. They're admitted Marxists. Who was Karl Marx? He was the author of the Communist Manifesto. So it's not a stretch to say they're communists. A Marxist is a communist. And then they say it's a far-right conspiracy theory. They admit it. They're admitting it. Well, cultural Marxism. What is Marxism? Marxism is communism. Karl Marx was the godfather of communism. What is the culture? The culture is sports, entertainment, mass media, you know, food. That's our culture. What is leading our culture right now? The Marxist group that I just named. So how is that a theory? These people are such liars. And it's all the media. It's like Google. They're like, that's crazy. It's like, guys, stop playing yourself. We're not buying it anymore. Thank you, Catherine. I appreciate you. Someone said, no. Jonathan said, why does no one talk about the doctor that did the autopsy for Floyd was the same as JFK and Epstein? I mean, people aren't savvy. You know, I talked about it. It was on my Instagram. It was on my Twitter. It was on a Facebook live stream. I believe his name was Michael Baden. I believe his name, Baden. The guy who did the autopsy on George Floyd, because the first one they said he died of like fentanyl or overdose or whatever. The second one where they said it was strangulation was done, just factually, was done by the same guy who did Epstein's autopsy, by the same guy who did JFK's. And he didn't just do JFK's independently. He worked on the House committee. He was the chairman of the official JFK assassination conduct. He's worked with, I mean, you look at his rap sheet, it's like every controversial case in America is very suspicious, very interesting, but people aren't that savvy. Not everyone can they love emotions. And this is a tactic. I have a whole video on it. I'm going to do another one. They use women, children, and tragedies. That's the thing. They've been doing it for hundreds of years. Why women? Because people like women. Why children? Because people have a soft spot for children. No one wants to see a child being hurt, let alone an adult. And then tragedies. Why a tragedy? Because when something horrible happens, death or, destruction, people really don't want it to happen because people are good people. They manipulate your emotions. These are wicked people. Wicked people who know exactly what they're doing. And it's not a theory. It's in unredacted files that they've been doing this for decades. It's not even a theory. It's a fact. There's unredacted government files that say they were planning to bomb cities and blow up a boatload of Cubans, either simulate it, fake, or really do it. These people don't care. There's people on this planet, they start wars, they starve kids in Yemen. You think they care about us? They don't. If they don't care about Africa, if they don't care about Yemen, if they don't care about the Middle East, they don't care about us. The human soul does not discriminate. So, a person who's not wicked will not hurt anybody that's not hurting them. But a wicked person, if someone's wicked enough to kill kids in the Middle East and Africa, they're certainly wicked enough to kill people here. So, it's all out there. It's just some people don't want to face it. But I was talking with a buddy of mine today, is a lot of people have their lens skewed. So at a certain point, reality is going to set in. Like Chaz, to me, I don't want people in Seattle to have to deal with it, but to me, that's reality setting in. Like, you look at Seattle, or you look at Los Angeles or San Francisco. San Francisco used to be one of the cleanest cities in America. Now it's one of the dirtiest, most disgusting cities. How do these people not realize it? Because they don't live in reality. Their whole world is brainwashing. Twitter, what celebrities and LeBron James says. Look out your window. Look on the streets. There's trash everywhere. Tents. It looks like a war zone. I mean, you drive to a nicer area and then you drive back into San Francisco or Los Angeles. It's not like, it doesn't even look like America. It's disgusting. And I've lived in a city for 8 years. I've watched it go from like kind of grungy to like straight up third world country. You chill with people from England. They're like, oh mate, I've never seen anything like this. They're like blown away. They think they're going to go see like Chrissy Teigen and, Kim Kardashian. And they're like, this is work. Like, I've done street interviews in Hollywood. This dude from Nigeria was like, this is worse than anything I've seen in Africa. Like, obviously we have poverty, but like, we're not this disgusting. Like, even with our poverty, we clean up decently. Like, he was like, there's nothing like this. Like, LA is more disgusting than even some of the worst parts in Africa. Just because liberals don't care. They don't live in reality. They don't think about their family, themselves, their community. It's all talk. It's all destruction and subversion of the family, of the community. And then they bend over backwards and say, hey, let me meddle in your community. Why? How can you save the environment of the planet when you have the most disgusting oceans, you have the most disgusting air? Who wants your air? Utah doesn't need help from you. Utah has clean air and clean water and clean mountains. Like, who wants your help? These people are delusional. So at a certain point, you just got to leave them alone. That's what I think. Let them chaz themselves. If it's not you, it's going to be them. So let them chaz themselves. I don't care. I'm not from Seattle. I'm going to read this real quick. Nance said, I grew up in Los Angeles. The last 10 years have been terrible. A hobo tried punching me when I was reading a sign at Plaza Olvera. There are homeless, drugs, and it's awful. There's very few pockets that are even like livable anymore. And the ones that are, they like ransacked 2 weeks ago with all the protests and just looted in all the decent areas. Do I follow Scott Presler? He deserves a humanitarian award. I do. Yeah, I follow him on Twitter. He does good work. He's definitely an inspiration as far as he registers people to vote, and he really gets to, he's like a one-man campaign team. He does great work. Yeah, good guy. I've met him too. I went to one of his cleanups. The unfortunate part is the place that he cleaned up was in the valley. I actually went. It was disgusting. It's already dirty again. So it's like, that's why people are saying, be a politician, do this. We got to change the collective mind, because if not, it's just going to keep regenerating. What Scott did was great, but it's like, unless we change enough minds, these problems are just going to keep manifesting. All right, we'll hang out for a few more minutes, and then I'll take off. I appreciate you guys, but I got a few more minutes left with me. Thank you guys. We had 13,000 people, 9,000. I appreciate you guys so much. It's been a beautiful time. Let me see. Someone said, dangerous narrative. You're part of the problem, not the solution. I'm for you. I mean, I appreciate your perspective, but I don't understand. You could be more specific. I don't understand what's dangerous. Telling people to clean up their own neighborhood and not allow, their city to just get completely ransacked. I don't know what to tell you. It's not going to be the stream for you. Someone said, I was born and raised in Los Angeles. It wasn't always like that. Yeah, I mean, it's obvious to anybody with two eyes, but it's all good. Did you hear about someone being shot at Chaz the other day? Yeah, I heard about it. Thank you, Mr. Marine. I appreciate you. Someone said they were trying to jack the collective consciousness. No, absolutely. And that's what the media really is. They're not reporting, they're programming. So if they can get enough of the minds, they can shift culture and shift consciousness. And that's the big underlying thing going on right now. So let's see. Do you honestly feel like this country will ever unite, says Cynthia? I have high hopes. I think things will get rough, things will get weird, but eventually I'm not scared. I don't think fear helps. I don't think being scared helps. So will this country unite? I don't know. We'll be fine though. I think we'll figure it out. Someone said, how do we get the young people back after they've been indoctrinated for so long? I don't know. According to the psychologists and the propagandists who really infiltrated America, they say it takes like 20 years. But I mean, I don't know. Everybody's different. Everyone has a threshold. So I think being effective, being honest, being accurate, and not being a partisan player or being angry about it, that's the way. I get a lot of messages where people are like, dude, my friends are super left-wing. They hate everybody, but they'll listen to what you're saying. Because I'm not wrong. I'm not lying. I'm not a phony. And I'm not mean about it. So, I think that's probably the best way. Someone said the fact that you're obviously not a paid operative is the best thing going. Well, thank you, John. I'm probably one of the only people that's not like funded or donor backed by anybody. I literally am 100% run. I edit my own stuff. I don't have a team. I don't have a manager. I don't have a label. I don't have a corporation behind me. I don't have any major donors in politics that shift my opinion or I take money from. I'm 100% independent. Absolutely. And there's very few people like that. And I'm sure I'm making a lot less money than them because I only operate off of stars and, ad revenue, but that's good, and Patreon and stuff. But it's all love. I'm figuring out a nice little business model to get good products. The reason I've held off for so long, I need to have great products. If it's not great, I'll just do nothing, but I want to contribute something. I'll figure it out though. Someone said if we could heal after the Civil War, we can heal again. Things are cyclical. They'll get better. Don't fearmonger about it. Just prepare. Don't be scared for the future. Just be prepared, be happy, and make moves accordingly. Like, it could get weird, but everything heals, everything grows again, everything comes to a point. So we'll get there, and things can happen quicker than you think. Thank you, Julie. I appreciate it. Have I ever heard of Joe Jorgensen? Yeah, but I'm over Joe Jorgensen. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people have been asking me about her, the libertarian candidate. She was bashing Trump about like his DACA stance or like I'm over it. Like, libertarians are too weak. They're like open borders. They do the same sort of liberal virtue signaling thing. If you have a standard argument, because the thing even with DACA, Trump tried to make a deal 2 years ago. He said, I'll let all the DACA kids stay. All I ask for is you to, beef up security like you've been wanting to do for 10 years, and they wouldn't do it. So Jo Jorgensen's just another phony. She's just another weak, fake libertarian who just virtue signals and tries to get bonus points from the left. I'm over the Libertarian Party. Their Twitter sucks. Jo Jorgensen's a liar. So no offense. I'm sure she's got other good policies and stuff. But once I saw that, I'm like, what a coward. What a liar. What's the point? These people just fold at every turn. It's like watching the Republican Party operate. You're just like, these people just won't stand up for themselves. Someone said you're waking a lot of people up. I hope so. In general, too, the wake up I'm talking about, I'm not even talking about politics. I want people to take care of themselves. If you take care of yourself, or you like yourself, or you get to a better place mentally or spiritually, everything else will follow in your life, in your community, in politics, in your career. It's more like it's like a life coach. I'm not a life coach, but you know what I'm saying? That's more my situation. I want people to get right. Who wins president is probably going to affect your life less than what you do, the decisions you make, how you operate, what type of person you are. So that's the real awakening to me. And then the rest will follow. Once you realize why, and that's another thing, I think you got to explain why, not just throw it at people, like get to the core of it. All right, let's read some comments. Thank you, Marianne. Someone said, I agree with the Libertarian Party. I mean, libertarianism is great, but the party, that's like the Libertarian Party might as well be the Liberal Party. Yeah, the fake virtue signaling, it's so... we don't need more of that now. Guys, we have Quaker Oats getting rid of brands, Eskimo pies. What is Eskimo pie? Who is that? Offensive to Eskimos? Eskimos don't care. Name 5 Eskimos that have complained about this. I don't know. Like, when you see the Libertarian Party and Mike Pence just pandering every day, it's like, guys, just stop already. No one's going to like you if you do. Like, it's just so cringy. If you're actually trying to help people, that's fine. But if you're just, like, trying to please the mob, stop them. Don't give them more ammunition. You're right. Eskimo pies mean change its name to Black Lives Matter pie. That's not going to solve racism. It's just, like, a stupid thing to do. I don't know. So annoying. Do I think Trump has a chance of being reelected? Of course, yeah. I mean, this election's up for grabs. Melissa said, I've lost 6 pounds because of your encouragement. Well, that's amazing, Melissa. I appreciate. God bless you. I'm not a saint. I have, physical goals to hit as well. I'm trying to get even stronger, but I'm glad to hear that. And I don't make fun of, like, I don't try to put down people for any reason, but at the end of the day, like, heart disease and, a lot of this stuff is killing more people than police, than pills. I mean, it's the #1 killer in America, and most of it's avoidable. So if we really care about people, we could save thousands of lives that way, getting a little healthier, mentally, spiritually, physically, that's it. Even a little bit. 6 pounds, a pound, work out 1 time a week instead of never, 1 time a month, that's better than nothing, I'm not a workout freak, like work out 5 times. No, just do a little better, If you eat this, just do 1 day of something slightly better and work out for 10 minutes. That's fine. That's probably way healthier. That's how I live my life. Maybe it's lazy. I probably should be a little bit more to the core, but I think that way. I'm like, if I walk a mile today, it's better than doing nothing. And it makes it that less overwhelming. Like, you don't got to be like Richard Simmons or something. Someone said, I'm gonna vote for Trump even though I'm libertarian. To be honest, after reading her Twitter feed, Trump is more libertarian than Jo Jorgensen. In other ways, she might be, but like her total case, like the DACA thing, I'm not saying not to support him, but she's like, this is terrible. It's like, it's a rule, it's a law. Like, at the end of the Supreme Court doesn't even control the law anymore. It's like, you guys make the law, they're above the law. They say the law, and then you follow the law, and then they call you racist for following the law they created. It's like, who do these people think they are? They're so annoying. Someone said our family's getting split up over the past few months. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. God bless you. Someone said we have so much freedom, but we choose our own bondage. It goes back to that, what's his name? Sheesh. Goes back to that quote I shared the other day where it was like, you could free your mind, but if you don't you could free your body from physical slavery, but if you don't free your mind, that's how they get you. They can keep you in a state via your mind. That's what's going on. Marcus Garvey, that's who it was. Great quote. It's on my page. Someone said, too bad someone can't start a conservative outlet. They have. I mean, they started Parler, but I don't use it. I'm going to be honest. It's an interesting thing because, you could start a conservative one, but here's the thing. Do you want to, and this is my real thoughts as well, do you want to just talk to conservatives? I understand if you want to live in a conservative area and have conservative friends, that's fine, but if you want to change the world, if you want to get more people to be on your side, you have to interact with other people. If you just sit on a social media with all conservatives, Parler, I'm sure is fun, but who is that influencing? It's just a bunch of Trump supporters talking about Trump things. It's who is that going to sway? That's going to sway no votes. So to me, it's not really appealing because more than people who agree with me, I would like to, find common ground with others as well. I think that's the way to really shift it. But, I get it. To each their own. All right. Have I seen videos of Judge Joe Brown talking about Obama? I have not, but it sounds like a good time. People won't even just do research. We'll get there. Endorphins are the best. They are good. Someone said, I can't wait what does it say? I can't wait for the day I step into politics. It's not about politics. It's about culture. Culture shapes politics. We got a lot of work to do with the spiritual framework of America and the world. I think that's real. Politics is all lawyers and liars and leakers, and that's no fun. I don't want to be in politics. We have to change the energy of the country and the world. That's a bigger thing, because then it shifts politics. The politicians are just little stooges. They just sit there and do whatever other people say or whoever pays them. Someone said, I don't want to live in an echo chamber like Democrats do. Yeah, it's not, Parler's okay. I'm not knocking it, but, it's an echo chamber, but also who's that going to convince? They got an election to win. You got to reach out to the other side or independents. You can't just reach out to your own people. Someone said, even your bad thoughts or your ego, get rid of all thoughts. That's deep, Antonio. That's deep. We can't wait for government to fix things first. No, the government is not going to fix things at all. We need to make it cool. We need to shift the culture and the framework and be brave and do things that are, that actually move the ball or move the needle. Someone said mail-in voting is scary. Oh, they're taking every trick to try to cheat and alter. They've already sent fake ballot or the wrong ballots to Republicans in New Jersey. They're already starting. These people will stop at nothing. They'll block the entrance, they'll block your ticket, and then they'll act like it happened naturally. It's a wicked mindset, and it'll happen to anybody if you get too far away from the truth and, you're filled with things that aren't healthy for you. All right, we'll do a few more and we'll take off. Someone said, main thing I love about Trump is he isn't a career politician. I'll tell you this, listening to his speech, Trump's worst speech is better than Biden's best speech. Trump's worst day is better than any politician's best day. Listen to him talk. The guy is the realest thing you'll ever see in politics. Obama, Biden, McConnell, Pelosi, McCarthy, these people, the Republicans, they're all sticks in the mud. They're total phonies. They read from a script and they just say what someone told them to say. Trump is just speaking off the cuff. It's awesome. He's the greatest thing in Washington, even on his worst day. I don't even agree with him. Part of me thinks he might just be a total setup, to make people complacent and still do the same thing. But there's a possibility, and there's a lot of evidence to show that he's not. They all hate him. He's always just saying things off the cuff. Even if you don't agree with what he says, he'll tell you. He'll be like, I'm taking the oil. You have another politician tell you, I'm not taking the oil. We're going to save it for the penguins. And then they secretly, they just kill an entire village and steal the oil, and they just lie about it on CNN. You'd rather, it comes to what Malcolm said about Republicans and conservatives and liberals back in the day. He said it's like the fox and the wolf. It's like one of them tells you how they feel, the other one just lures you in with lies and then hits you when you're not expected. Trump he's better than everyone in Washington, regardless of what he does. And I'm not saying that to be like a fanboy. It's just like, listen to the guy talk and then listen to Mitch McConnell talk. Listen to Trump talk and then listen to Joe Biden talk. Listen to Trump talk and then listen to Nancy Pelosi talk. Guys, it's like listening to Bob Marley or listening to your friend who sucks and you just don't want to tell him he's not that good, you know? It's night and day. I don't understand. It's so much subversion going into it. They try to hide his speeches, take it out of context. They play 10 seconds of it, and then they have Anderson Cooper say, oh, this was a bad thing for the bad Mexicans, peoples, and everyone's like, oh my God, he said. Like, that's the only way they can subvert you, is play a clip out of context and then get a bunch of people to tell you what to think. This is what you should think about it. Don't listen to me. Don't think what I think. Go listen to the full speech and make your own decision. You might be like, that's not funny. I don't agree. But please don't listen to these people talk about Trump. All they do is lie. These are sneaky people who support war in Africa, war in Libya, horrible products, the bad health of millions of people a year. These people are wicked, guys. These are like the sneakiest, most subverting liars ever. Someone said, I'd rather the truth, regardless of if it hurts. That's what we need. Chris, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Trump has his heart pointed towards the moral truth. I haven't met him personally, but I've been in the room and I've listened to him speak. You could tell someone's eyes. You look at Hillary's eyes, no offense, you feel like you're looking into a black hole. It's like wicked. Trump has kind eyes. He's got that, I trust the guy. I know he's done some sneaky stuff. I understand some things I don't agree with, but you could tell why the media is so mad. He's not, even at his most sellout, even when he does the most sneaky stuff, he never sneaks enough. It's never enough for these people. He'll give them everything. You take this here. I'll do all this stuff for you. They want it all. They want him out of the way, and they want to come for you next. It's like a whole thing. He's not nearly as bad as they've said. Thank you, Langsford. God bless you. Appreciate you. Someone said, you lost me when you compared Trump to Bob Marley. I'm not saying Trump's like Bob Marley. What I said was Trump is nothing like Bob Marley. I'm saying Trump to Biden is like Bob Marley to a SoundCloud rapper that isn't good, but you don't want to tell them they're not good. That's what I'm talking about. Like your friend who has one song and the editing's bad, you don't want to. I'm not saying Trump is nothing like Bob Marley. Their actions, their ego, totally different people. I'm saying the comparison of Trump to Biden is similar to Marley to somebody who's knocking two sticks together, just screaming, like Yoko Ono. You're just like, stop doing this. You guys got it. Got a smart crowd. Thank you, Angela. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for supporting this stream, though. It's our biggest stream. We had 13,000. I got so nervous, guys. As soon as I hit 13,000, I've never hit that many in a live stream on Facebook, I get a notification. It says, Facebook is deactivating your... I was like, you've got to be kidding me. It was a fake scheme thing, but it looked so real. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. As soon as we're just crushing, they're about to... It wasn't, though. I just want to say a prayer before we leave, and then, or just a thing. Then I'll maybe read a few more and leave. Mark Zuckerberg, God bless you and your wife. I looked up your Instagram. He's got a family. He's playing all over in Hawaii and stuff. God bless you guys. I appreciate you for leaving me alone. Listen, we can all do it. Your wife, the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative. Everyone could do their own thing. I'm having a good time. You're having a good time. Let's just keep having a good time. No need to get crazy. No need to start censoring and silencing. Don't listen to Twitter. Jack doesn't know how to run a company. He'll say, oh, Zuckerberg doesn't censor enough. It's like, Jack, your stocks are very low. Your company's poorly run. You don't have enough ads. You don't know what you're doing. Google, wicked to the core. Susan Wojcicki's just freaking out, censoring everybody. You don't want to be like that, Mark Zuckerberg. You got a good thing going here on Facebook. You got more people than any other social media. You got your stocks going up. Let's just calm down, not do anything crazy. Let Anomaly live. Let the people have fun. We'll keep it real. We'll keep it accurate. We won't We won't be mean. And it's a mutual thing. You get some stars, I get some stars, we all get stars. And, you're a star. Don't listen to the fake news media. They always bash you. They say Zuckerberg's a big bad guy. Listen, you probably done some bad things, but, why don't they make a Warren Buffett documentary? Why don't they make a Google documentary? It seems like they're all after you, my man. I'm just saying, Zuckerberg, listen, don't take it for word. I'm just saying, if you have a change of heart, there's always room on the Trump train for you, Zuckerberg. You could hop on the Trump train. You could put a MAGA hat on. You could pull an Elon Musk, and, you'll get some heat for it, but there'll be a lot of people. That's all I'm saying, Zuck. If you want to go full MAGA, I don't suggest it, but if you do, I'm just saying we're here for you. Because right now, it's a good time, so let's not ruin it. That's all I'm saying. God bless you guys. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. Someone said, Elon crushed. I don't know what else he's doing, but he was like going at it. That guy does not care. I don't know. But I appreciate you guys. God bless you. I'm going to take off now. We'll keep it good. If you don't do anything, sign up to my free email list, stayintouchwithme.com. I'll leave this up, probably for a day or so. I'll leave it up for 24 hours. And if you want to watch it again, I'm going to put this whole stream onto YouTube in my BitChute page. You could go watch it there later. But I like to keep the feed clean. I'll leave it up probably for a day or two, maybe 3 if we're feeling lucky. But when I take my live streams down, it's me doing it. It's not Facebook. Multiple reasons. One, people come to my page. They usually watch the top video. I'd rather it be my other videos with more information. They're easier to follow. It's more succinct. And also, I don't know what they're going to do in general. Like, they're always freaking out, and these are more fun and loose. So I like to keep it tight because they're always like, It's like, we do it. We have fun. Goes to YouTube, goes to BitChute. And that's just how it operates sometimes. So just know when I I'll let you know when they delete my videos. It's not Facebook doing it. It's usually me because I'm like, you know what? We had our moment. No one cares about this anymore. We'll move it to YouTube. So if you don't see this live stream, it's going to be up for over 24 hours or more. And then it's going to go on YouTube or BitChute because I don't care about YouTube. They're already messing with me so much. They can have it. God bless you guys. I appreciate you. Thanks for making this our biggest stream ever. Did not expect that, but I'll take it. We'll be back tomorrow, and I'm in the process of moving. I am going to set up shop. I just want to let you guys know, with all the support I'm getting, I'm really excited. I'm going to get probably a nice microphone. I'm going to up everything. I might get some cameras. I'm not sure. Better backdrop, and I'm going to really try to make it sleek and move into the new year or the election year, really get things rolling. And if you watch my videos a year ago, 2 years ago, you could see we've only improved. It's only gotten better. The live streams have gotten better. The regular square videos have gotten better, higher quality, better pop-ups. So that's my goal, is to keep improving. And I appreciate you guys for the support. You've allowed me to do so. We've gone against the grain. No corporations, no media, no donors, no editors, no agents, no managers, nothing. Just your support and my hard work. But overall, I appreciate that. And for that, I'm forever grateful. I'll see you guys later. And thanks for hanging out today.